care about.
Yeah.
And for God's sakes, don't stand in the aisles. Which is hilarious if you work in the 80s and had to listen
At
to
the Improv in New York.
yes, at the Improv, or for that matter, Catch a Rising Star, any place. They just get
That's
the
true.
fuck out of the aisles, you dumbass comics. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't know it was you. Bill Maher reference, because
Infamous.
he was that guy. By the way, shortcut to stardom: be a coke dealer in the 80s when you want to be a stand-up. All right. Anyway, here we are. It is another Monday night, 8 o'clock Mountain Time. We've got people from all over the place tonight, and couldn't be happier about it. When I was doing stand-up the first time around, I would stand on stage sometimes and I would just look out and I go, what the fuck, man? What am I doing here? I don't like people looking at me. I don't like to talk about myself. And that's apparently what all comics do. And that's what pretty all they do.
You're doing that now, Mike.
I got better, Ned.
Uh-oh.
I got better. All right.
Yes, it gets better.
No, it doesn't get. This doesn't get better. I'm just telling you, I got more comfortable with talking.
Don't be silly.
Yeah. If I'd led an interesting life, I would have talked about you.
Whoa.
Because no, Ned has had an interesting life. He has.
Ouch.
No, you have. I'm not.
Ouch.
I haven't had an interesting life.
I
I wasn't even a wanted child. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, maybe my mom did, smoke only when she was pregnant. How is that your business?
She was trying to look cool.
Yeah, she was trying to look. Yeah, and it's hard to look cool when you weigh 60 extra pounds.
Tell me about it.
In the fourth pregnancy, when
Like you have to tell me.
Yeah, thank you. And you don't have to tell me right in the middle of my joke either, because great.
So stoned right now.
No, one of the best things about comedy is that little repartee between you and a guy who thinks he's funnier than you.
Magic.
Because you'd call it heckling, except you're both, professional courtesy, because you're both supposed to be comics.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably a bar over which you have to get before it gets out of the heckling range and into the repartee between two comics. But, I don't want to get into that because I'm not here to judge.
Where do you usually go?
I am.
It's just a thing that I do on the side. I judge everybody.
Mike.
What?
4 minutes.
Thank you.
No, I'm joking. I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding. It's just the inherent mean-spiritedness of the tone of voice that throws people off.
Just like Daddy.
I know you're kidding because I know you. Other people just think, what an asshole. No wonder he lives in Ann Arbor.
If I wasn't in this chair, Mike.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that if my writers were here. A reference to Bob Hope, ladies and gentlemen. He used to say that on the radio a lot.
So good.
Bob Hope, ladies and gentlemen. Anita Ekberg.
Didn't she
Just wanted to show you guys what you're fighting for.
What about that from
It's Vietnam. We're fighting because we're poor.
You should have showed him a sandwich.
He didn't really grasp the difference between World War II and the Vietnam.
No, all the same gig.
No, to him it was all the same gig. As long as they were in the,
as long as he didn't have to serve, that's really what mattered.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, this has been a pleasure for you, but
Ned, this has been tedious. Now let's start the show.
No, Ned, come on, Ned. You appreciate a good laugh as much as the next guy. One day you'll hear that during the night.
So looking forward to that moment.
That it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen for you, man.
Maybe not this year or next year, but soon, and for the rest of our lives.
Yes, exactly. Shot at the Burbank airport. These are just things. These are the things you need to know because I've lived a life of complete wastefulness. I've done nothing find miniature facts and seethe with jealousy because of those fucking assholes at TCM get to be the guys who introduce movies. And I'm that guy. I should be that guy. I actually know about those movies. And then Dave Carter is like, well, I reported on Hollywood for many years. So I get to be stiff as a fucking corpse talking about the greatest movies ever made. Thank you very
Mike,
much.
you seem like you have a lot of anger.
You know what, Christina?
Mike, who hurt you?
This is the reason that
They have a name. Who was it?
Instead of doing a spot, because I'm just an angry guy.
You're a lovely angry guy. Sorry.
I'm what? I'm sorry, what? Christina?
You're a lovely angry guy. I think
Well,
if you want to
you
introduce
know,
films.
Yeah, as repulsive human beings go, I'm quite attractive, but you know, that's like being a
Hubba.
Be that as it may, here's the deal. We're going through the show tonight. There are some people who have already signed up and people who signed up later, and I'll be mixing people in and all of that. I'm going to start a timer when everybody gets on stage. At 4 minutes, I'm going to go 4 minutes, and you have a minute to wrap it up. At 5 minutes, it's thanks for stopping by. Get your gift basket on the way out.
Yeah.
And I may interrupt you. Why? Because it's my fucking mic. You can't let the entertainment level drop below a certain level, so sometimes I have to jump in. Hey, what? Stop it. That's just not supportive. That's hurting the comics, and it's unjustified. He never recovered from it. Okay,
I love the new stuff.
welcome, if you will, our first comedian who I just adore. As a comedian, not a creepy thing, but well, I keep the creepy stuff under my hat. As a comedian, I adore him, and let's just leave it at that for the time being. Obviously, an astronaut as well as a comedian. Please welcome Von Sprecken.
Yeah.
Hey!
Oh man, I picked the one where we're going live on YouTube to do all my new stuff. This is gonna be
Doesn't
so
matter.
good. Yeah, this first one's a banger too. No, wait till you hear it. You'll see. Oh man, I want to have twins. I'm gonna name the first one Reese and the second one Maurice. Okay, thanks. If I have triplets, I'm gonna call the third one Even Maurice. If it's quadruplets,
the third one Barry.
Dear God, please no Maurice. And if there's a fifth one, we're gonna call him I Can't Believe It's Not Reese. I'm changing my answer. I only want twins. I want Reese, and I can't believe it's not Reese. Okay, that's all I want.
Yeah, that's
Like
what
I
these
said,
mics are for. Work out
banger.
the
All right. Speaking of names, actually no. I want to have one son. I'm going to name him Malcolm, as you know, from the Latin mal, which means bad, and com, which is ass motherfucker. Okay. Oh man, stretching these comedy muscles out. Here we go. I have this new invention that is a device in an ATM that when bills go through it, it gets out the latent small amounts of cocaine that are trapped in all of our money. This one's not a joke. I'm looking for investors, and you can probably guess what I was doing when I came up with this invention idea. All right. I think all right. This is something that might go somewhere. I think that whoever decided to put alcohol in glass bottles was a huge asshole. Like the worst person. Like he was trying to get people killed. He was like, hey, you know, alcohol, the stuff that makes people belligerent and sometimes violent. I'm going to put it in a container that when you hold it upside down, it's a little baseball bat. And then People like, oh, but it's easily breakable. You know, that's the worst baseball bat. Oh, don't worry. Once it breaks, it's not a bat, it's a knife. So anyway, the handle's covered. You know, you turn it upside down, it's covered in beer. It's literally just as likely to kill you as somebody else. Like, I think it was just a bartender in the Old West. Like, I'm sick of all the regulars. Let's just kill them all off. And he put alcohol in glass bottles. Oh, this is kind of fun, actually. So I was talking about how I had a headache, and 10 minutes later, Instagram showed me an ad for Advil. And so I said, no, bad computer. And now all I get is ads for Apple products. I actually do like that one. I think it's funny how humans, we don't like monotonous things, like things that just repeat over and over. But whenever we pray, we say the same like 2 or 3 prayers to God all the time. And it's got to be so annoying from his point of view. Like, I think monotonous prayers, like the whole just saying our Father, that had to have come from Satan. Like, it reminds me of this time when I was getting dropped off as a kid. You know, my mom taught us that song, you know, the song that never ends. Anyway, go play with your dad. Have a fun weekend. That, I imagine, is how we got these monotonous prayers. I think that was the devil. What else? A lot of people don't know this, but that I'm rubber, you're glue thing actually came from famous French philosopher Rene Descartes, you know? Only he said it a little different. I think it was, you know, you think I am, therefore you are, is how he phrased it.
4 minutes.
God, I told you these are fucking. I'm so glad everyone on YouTube gets to. Anyway, actually, I think I'm good for now. That's, yeah, I got to work these out a little bit. Thank you.
Oh,
Yay.
come on, Brecken. Come on,
Very
let's
good.
have a round of applause. We got a bunch of people in the room.
Yeah.
Brecken. He, bad computer. I'm going to remember that one.
Mhm.
Hey, guys. I need to find out. Oh, yeah. Okay, there he is. Caught in the Shadows is our next guy. He's here frequently. Fun. Big man in show business. Please welcome David Germain. Who,
Hey, everybody. How goes it?
David Germain, who's
Just came, yeah.
Day being
Right in here. That's how I like to do the open mics, just to walk right in, come in late, and then straight up next. That's how I rolls. So, you guys can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Next question. Is this thing on? No. All right. Moving on. That was my opener. Like that. Okay, so little of you guys who don't know me, anybody who's watching there, any of our participants and stuff, is that my name's Dave Germain. I'm 44 years old. I don't own a gun. Just letting you guys know right now. It's not because I don't believe in the Second Amendment. I've played enough first-person shooters in my life that realize that if I'm not good at those, I'm probably not going to be really good in a gunfight. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to want me to be on your team unless you want somebody to hysterically shoot somebody in the ass. Yeah, then I'm your dude. All right, you give me a call, Dave G will be there. And that's, I'm gonna be honest, that's a little bit of an older joke that I had, and because a friend of mine was like, dude, with everything that's going on in the world, you honestly think that you would not want to get a gun? I'm like, come on, man. Of course I'm totally gonna get a gun now. Holy crap, are you kidding me? The moment I see white people burning down their own Starbucks, that's when I know. Okay, shit's going down, right? Which, it's kind of weird because I never really wanted to own a gun before. And truth be told, my wife, she grew up with guns. I didn't. So she knows a bit more about them than I do, So what that means is that she's now the man in the relationship. And I'm basically, well, you know what? She probably always was, if I'm going to be completely honest. But the new thing is now I have this whole entire thing about having to learn about a new part of life about firearms and stuff. And it's weird because I feel like an 8-year-old who hasn't figured out how to tie his own shoes yet. When they walk into a gun store, like I'm practically on the verge of tears and stuff. I'm like, somebody help me, please. Can anybody help me? Where does the bullet go in? And it's weird because that's a whole different aspect of life that I've never really had any experience with. And I found like there's different types of gun dealers or gun salespeople, I guess. I don't know what the correct nomenclature is. Gun dude. There's the type of person that was like, hey man, I think it's awesome that you're like, I've been wanting to share my knowledge and information about living, about the Second Amendment and firearms and stuff and being a responsible gun owner. I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for coming in. I'll be more than happy to tell you anything you need to know. Those guys are really nice, especially if you're a guy like me. What's really weird is when you see the gun salesman who absolutely hates new gun buyers, and he just has this look on his face, like, I know that these liberals are coming in here disguised as Garth Brooks circa 1994, trying to fool me into thinking, like part of this background check is I check your Twitter feed. You understand that, right there? So it's an interesting position and stuff. So I've been to the gun range twice. I stopped shitting myself every time somebody fires a bullet. So I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready to actually, fire a gun on my own without crying because I'm a man, damn it. All right. Trying to tap into that toxic masculinity. Let's see, right? So this one, okay, man, I don't even know if this is going to be funny, but this is an open mic and this is why I enjoy the space for it. I don't know what's pissing me off more, all right? The stupid shit that our president says or the reaction to the stupid shit that our president says by a lot of close friends of mine. It's like, this is the reason why I stopped looking at Facebook, man. Like every morning, like, do you know what the president said? Like, let me guess, something racist? Yes. Can you believe that? Yeah, I can. Like, I totally can. I've known about this dude for years, like, I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's because I grew up in a small town out in the desert of California, high desert California, Lucerne Valley. What? Home of the crystal meth capital of the armpit of California. All right. So there was racists all around me, and you can't stay by yourself all the time. Eventually, you got to learn how to make friends. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of learn to get along with some of these people, even though I didn't want to. Like the big nerd thing that I was into. I'm gonna shock a lot of the ladies in here, but I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. I know I look like a jock, but seriously, I used to play D&D. And we had an eclectic group. Sorry.
4 minutes. You weren't here on time, so you didn't get the warning.
Okay, fair enough.
4 minutes.
This thing was going to ramble on nowhere, so I'm just going to politely say thank you very much.
Oh, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be polite. All right, Dave Germain.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Didn't get the memo. But people who came in a little bit later, at 4 minutes, I'm going to say 4 minutes.
There.
Perhaps not that politely, but 4 minutes. Lovely. Nice to know that you're adopting the national form of paranoia and getting guns.
Check 1, 2.
I'm considered relatively sane as a Michigander because I only own 4.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Practically
practically
a communist with that.
None of whom. No, I have a cousin who. I have a cousin who owns over 600 guns. I'm not joking.
What?
What's her name?
Believe that.
Her name is Shirley, but don't call me that. But his name is Doug, and he collects all kinds of guns. And his father was a gunsmith, but nevertheless,
Where of Doug?
600. What are you?
Even so.
Yeah. What are you kidding me?
I think it's ridiculous, but I kind of want to see that collection now. It's really ridiculous.
You want to see what?
I think that's ridiculous as well, but I kind of want to see that collection now.
Yeah.
There's got to be some interesting shit in there.
He has a lot of pictures of it that he posts from time to time, and it's just
That's not weird at all.
no. God, heavens, no. But the funny thing is, he's relatively sane compared to his father, that was the gunsmith, who used to take us down to the basement to show his Civil War cannon.
Well,
The Civil War cannon he bought just to have. Because you got to have.
Euphemism
For
for something
hunting,
that happened
just for
to you.
You know, if you live in Michigan, everybody in Michigan knows about guns. It's just as simple as that. And they don't really know why they're in love with them, but they are. And they don't want anybody taking them away from them. That's my political statement from tonight, and I'm glad to see I'm glad to see that none of you thought it was funny. I appreciate the applaud. And I'm bringing our next comedian on right now because I think I have a 50-50 shot of pronouncing his name right, and I should strike while the iron is hot. Big hand for Sukumar Vijay Raghavan.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Chuck. That's perfect. So this is something I just wrote today. So this is the first time I'm talking about it. So it might be a dud. One of the things that people always ask me is, how is it that so-called rational people believe in right-wing propaganda? And I think it's trivial. So all you have to know to understand that is to think about when you were a preteen or a teen. It just requires two characteristics. One is supreme arrogance, and the other is not to know shit. So I thought I would dig deep into my past to come up with instances that illustrate this point. Okay, so when I was 10 years old, I had this big boil on my nose. Okay, now any kid who had a painful boil on his nose would have gone to his parents. They would have taken him to a doctor, and that would have been it. But I thought, what do doctors know? I can do better. So I decided to make my own medicine. So I went out to the garden, got some leaves from a plant that I knew was poisonous for livestock. And my argument was, if it can kill a cow, then it would go to town on bacteria. So I crushed that with some ibuprofen tablets, some antibiotic ointment, mixed all in a slurry, and applied it generously on my nose. And the next morning, the boil was gone, but so was the entire skin of the top of my nose. So I had to go to school, and this is in middle school, with a white nose. And if you thought Rudolph had it bad, imagine a kid with a white nose surrounded by brown kids. It was brutal. And that day there was no such thing as white privilege. So then when I was 13 and I was getting on first name basis with my nether regions, I somehow got to believe that the function of my testicles were to store urine before you pee it out. Okay, so one day, armed with a piece of string and a ruler, I calculated the volume of each of my balls, and I calculated that.
Oh my God.
And I calculated that the maximum amount of urine it could hold was about 30 milliliters. And that started a 3-month drama in my household. Because I had also calculated that 30 mils, because it was 30 milliliters, it would fill up every 30 minutes. So I was getting up about 15 times every night during the night to go to pee. And soon it came, my parents got to notice it. And then they asked, what was happening? And instead of telling them this whole logic, I just told them that they didn't know anything, and this is what a 13-year-old is supposed to do. And they didn't buy it, and they took me to a doctor, and I spent a month going through tests for type 1 diabetes. And after that, as that turned out to be negative, they sent me to an endocrinologist who said maybe I have a pituitary problem. And this all went on for a period of about a month, till one day I confessed, or at least I explained my logic to my sister, who was about 4 years older to me. And after she finished rolling on the floor laughing, she handed me a book on human physiology. And that day I discovered what to me was the most beautiful organ in the human body, the bladder. And
4
And
minutes.
in about 15 minutes, as a miracle, that completely cured my problem, and that went away. So this is, so it's all a combination of arrogance and not knowing shit. Another time, I don't know if any of you have seen an immersion water heater. It's essentially a metal rod, metal coil that's dipped in water, and you pass electricity to it, and it heats up the water. So I'm heating up the water, and I found that the level of the water in the vessel was too low. Now, what any sane person would do would be to turn the thing off, fill it up with water, and then start it on again. But I noticed a steel container next to it with water, and I thought I could just pour it in. And I figured that if I did it with a flick of my wrist, the water would fall in a discontinuous manner, so I wouldn't get electrocuted. So here's the education part of my set. Now, for those of you who are planning to take some evening classes in physics, if at the end of the course in the exam you get this following question, how far can a jolt from a 220 volt, 20 ampere source of electricity throw a 75-pound body? I can tell you right now, the answer is 5.5 feet.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. Sorry.
Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghavan. Say it 5 times fast. No, no.
If only I could.
That's also, that's actually the Hindi answer to the question that he asked us at the end of his set.
I can't participate in that competition. I can pronounce it.
Okay, don't.
Try not to do that again.
Okay, sure. You can fail to misunderstand some of my other material later. But first, our next comedian I've known for a very long time, used to write for a lot of the late night television shows, and he wrote for Bill Maher for a number of years. A very funny comic, and really a hell of a guy. He is.
I think I'm next, Mike, actually.
Oh shit. While we're waiting for him, Ed Rice.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Yay, thank you so much. Oh boy, what a week. It's only Monday. I'm already completely slammed this week. I have work and the holiday, and I'm in the process of trying to hire a nanny. I don't know if you've ever been through this. It's a nightmare. They're all lovely. They have, resumes and references, and it's so hard to choose. And it's even harder for me because, I don't have kids. So that makes it weird for some of them. They get kind of judgy about that. So trying to deal with that. I'm actually dating a millennial girl right now, which is kind of weird because I'm a creep. And but she's lovely. Our first date, she was kind of she agreed to go out with me, but she was kind of ambivalent. Wasn't sure. I could tell because she only shaved one leg. But things have gotten better now. We have a wonderful love life. I can say this. We have a wonderful sex life, which I think would be even better if while we were making love, she would stop texting. Just during the act itself, if she would put the phone down. Not during foreplay. I get it. I totally get it. LOL, Brittany, he just touched my ass. OMG. But when I'm actually inside you, please put the phone down, is what I'm saying. So good for her. And it's kind of weird that I'm dating a millennial because I've always been into older women. My whole life, I always wanted to be with an older woman. As a teenager, 20s, 30s. But at my age now, an older woman would be, well, I guess dead. That's not my scene at all. I'm not interested in that. If I wanted to have sex with a silent, cold, lifeless, motionless female body, I would still be married. That's what I'm saying. I'm going there. I live there. I know, right? It's crazy. We did not, my wife and I, my ex-wife, we did not have a good sex life. She used to give me the wrap it up sign during sex, during lovemaking. You don't want to see that. You know, I'd be going at it. Oh, honey, I'm so close. I got the light. Shit. I've been your husband. Have a nice evening. That's how it was. So I didn't care for that. I didn't like that at all. It's awful. It's funny though, even though I'm happily engaged, you know, in a relationship. Last night, a super hot, beautiful, gorgeous woman with a centerfold body asked me for my number. And so, you know, I gave it to her. And she punched it into the computer and said, Mr. Rice, you're not a preferred customer value club member. Would you like to apply? So it was not, it was kind of a letdown, is what it was. So like so many of you, I'm fascinated by the English language. The one term I've never understood was, why is it an insult to call somebody a cocksucker? Why is that a bad, why do people say, oh, he cheated me at cards, that cocksucker? You know, the guy fixed my car, or to call someone that in an insulting way, I don't get it. When I look back on my life, I would say every encounter I've ever had with a cocksucker has been overwhelmingly positive. Certainly from my perspective. Maybe I speak for myself on that. Maybe I should. I think I will, actually. I also hate it when someone who's not as smart as me says duh to me. I think that's uncalled for. I used to have a mother-in-law who was very stupid, very nice lady. And she would sometimes try to crack a joke or something. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, Ma, I don't get it. And she'd say, duh. And I go, what do you mean, duh? You don't duh me. I duh you, if anything. What did you get on your SATs? Oh, I'm sorry. That's a test people take when they're planning to go to college. Okay, I'll duh your ass. So I'm glad I got that off my chest. I feel a lot better. Thank you. It's actually 4 minutes, Mike. Get with
I
it,
know.
okay? You're just so caught up in the magic.
I have it at 7 seconds to 4. I gave you a little bit of a break.
Here's, you know, it's almost time for college football, my favorite time of the year. I love college football. My favorite part of the game is special teams. When special teams takes the field, that's when, you know, because, you know, maybe society has deemed these players special. Maybe they're not as smart as the other players. Maybe they don't do as well. And some of them clearly don't know how the game is played, but they're out there fighting just like the normal kids. And if you ask me, it doesn't get any more special than that. So God love them. And that's my thoughts on that. And I think that's 5 minutes, Mike.
It's right up
So,
there. It's
Damn.
Yeah.
I know it seems longer. Thank you very much, everybody.
Was it only 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Was it only 5 minutes? That's all I want to know. I'm gonna go straight with our next performer because we got to do some plugs afterwards, and it'll be great, and you guys will just love every minute of the rest of the show. It's all, I mean, it's starting now. That's what I mean. No, stop it, Ned. You don't laugh at. This is mine. You laugh with. You laugh with, or you don't laugh at all. See, look at what he's doing now. God, it's cruel. Look at the plug that I gave him too. Sure, I didn't claim that it was him, but still, it was a beautiful plug. Nevertheless, our next performer, he's gonna make you cry. He'll make you laugh. You'll become a part of him. Norman Royal.
Yeah.
Person one time told me, like, I know we've all probably been in that situation where we just don't listen to the full conversation, you know, naturally assuming. And yeah, I could be a bit of that person sometimes. But like one time a person told us was about a friend that they used to know that almost used Tinder like it was Uber. Like pretty much the only exception is that in order to go out with this person, you had to buy her food. I was in the mood to where I literally only heard part of that conversation. So I assumed she was eating while sleeping with these people. The person got up to where I only heard to about a scrape and oops, sorry. Kid just screwed me up. Gotta love them.
Comedy during the lockdown.
Gotta love them. Hold on for 1 second.
It's good. It's wise
Right.
to slam your kids' fingers in the door when you want them to be quiet.
Let
Yeah,
the
how
That's
they
what I
gonna
tried
work?
to just do.
let
That
the
kid's a
kid
plant.
out of their closet.
I'm just joking. Anyways, no. So back to this screwed up my time exactly on YouTube. Anyways, so yeah, I wasn't listening to the full conversation, and it got up to the person where it said scrape, and I was like, first off, again, I was already in the assumption that this person was sleeping while eating with these people. The fact that somebody had to use scrape, I'm only thinking, God, how fucking messy and sloppy is this person? Talk about a freak. Chiseling away the fat. It almost reminded me of the time like when I was little and my dad was rounding us up to go to my grandmother's. But right before we got all packed into the cars, that was my first time discovering my dad's porno videos. I got midway through until we all had to jump on in and get ready to go. I get there and about midway through, about a half hour in of being over there, I overheard my parents and my grandmother talking. It really concerned me when she stated, "Do you think he'll like my pasties?"
God.
My childhood, one to remember, right? I think there's a reason why we block out a lot of our childhood memories. And then why we choose comedy. Trump needs to be told on what to do. I don't know where I'm at on time, Mike.
You have exactly 2 minutes.
All right, I'll speed through this. I can't fucking stand hearing about Trump anymore. I mean, to me, the man looks like he's been lost in the desert just for like days on end. His itty bitty little beady eyes makes me think alone that he hasn't even seen the light of day. Always waking up, Melania, what day is this? I mean, have we all seen and heard this shit correctly? Trump needs to be told what the fuck to do. Really?
Excuse me.
What's happening in the world? What is he, fucking 5? I mean, goddamn, next to nothing. How is the White House being run? Like a child daycare center? Like drop off only? What is Melania fucking running around breastfeeding all these little baby bastards while the rest of them are hopscotching around the fucking important issues? I mean, Jesus, next to nothing. It's like literally chasing a child around. Put on your fucking pants, right? Trump just sitting in his chair, whee, spinning around. Dude's over behind him. Just read the damn report. No wonder nobody wants to wear the mask. When you got someone in the house like that, it's easy to follow stupid. That's my time, everybody. You have a good one.
Hey. Norman Royal. Reaching back to the high hard one on Trump.
Yeah.
I like that. A couple of fastballs to the nuts. I like it. I don't like to do Trump jokes because it's like killing a harp seal. You know what I mean? But, you know, whoa, what happened?
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Bugs.
Exactly.
Bugs.
Mike taking over control.
Right. Right.
What did I do? I did
We don't have to worry about the machines. It's the elderly we have to worry about. Holy crap, who knew?
Oh,
Keep them
Norman.
away from the
Come on,
machines.
man. Save that shit for your act. You know what? I'm going to start with the plugs since
Yeah.
we're trying to
Moving
figure
along. Moving
trying to
along.
figure out the thing, right? 'Cause
Right. You know, the kids are watching us. At least 3 people right now watching us on YouTube and such.
Well, that's great. That's
We'll
great.
post.
I don't know if they're watching us. They're watching the head from
Right. So we'll
My
post the
wife.
video when it's done at YouTube Colorado Comedy
in the
Shows.
black suit. Okay, so one of the things that we do,
Well, that's better.
one of the things we do here is collect some of the money from paid admissions and send them to a couple of charities. One of the charities is Elevating Connections. which is run by Stacy Sanders, who ordinarily would be talking about it right now, but I don't know where she is. And
I got a fun fact, Mike. Not a fun fact, but this is straight from Stacy. 224 youth in Colorado transitioned out of care without a true permanent home. So that's what her organization does. They get care direct to, and she keeps track of kids like this, man. That's, they got a tough story, and we do a good thing by trying to get some money to her and awareness.
A lot of people don't know is that when you get sent into care, into foster care, you don't necessarily get to stay with your sibling. So the big part of what Elevating Connection does is reconnect both actually in person and also in a more enlightened, higher level way, the siblings that have been separated by the foster care system, puts them back together. When there's no pandemic, they go to a camp in the summer. They just did a wonderful and highly lucrative fundraiser that was also a poetry reading just a couple of weeks ago that Chuck Roy produced. For those of you who are wondering what Chuck was good at. No, come on. He's great. He's wonderful. We all know that. If I actually believed I was as good as him, I wouldn't be attacking. Why do you have to hurt, Mike? I don't know, but I do. Another charity that we do. Thank you, Chuck. See, there's Chuck.
Right. I popped me in there so folks could see. And then
we're going with the whole list. Anyway, is Stacy around? Does she want to?
She was gonna stay mellow tonight, so I hope she enjoyed the presentation.
Okay, well, there's that. The other one is a charity that it's a theater group that's puts on large cast productions once a year of musicals where they repurpose the songs from ASCAP and BMI, the licensing bureaus for hit songs. So every song in it has a melody that's already been a huge success. The lyrics are rewritten to serve the story of the show. Roughly a third of the people in every cast are people with special needs across the entire spectrum, from developmental disability to physical disability and all kinds in between. For some reason, my timer's gone off. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so just keep in mind, and when you're telling people about your experience with us, keep in mind that we donate a portion of the proceeds for all the tickets that we sell to these two charities, and they're very, very good contribution to the Denver public life scene. Anyway, we also do a show on Sunday night that Chuck hosts wonderfully, and I co-host, but he does the lion's share of the work on every level, and he does a great job with it, including booking the acts. It's a showcase as opposed to an open mic. Please tell your friends. It starts at 7 o'clock Mountain Time on Sunday evenings. The next show will be on July 12th. And I can't remember who the headliner is.
We got Troy Walker.
Troy Walker. Ooh, he's great. He was in the show. Not bad. Yes, thank you on his behalf. So anyway, tell your friends about that. That's every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And I think that does it for the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Performer is somebody who came and made a huge impression last week and is back already to do another time. And it's going to be lovely, I'm sure, as she always is. Please welcome, if you will, Ginny Sykes.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
So I'm following the theme of the evening and doing all new material. So I don't know if you've read, but a lot of younger people are worried about whether college is worth it. Well, I went to grad school, and anybody else go to grad school?
Twice.
Working on it.
Yeah, it makes a big difference in your career, right? Obviously not, since we're here. Actually, it does. It changes your life for the worse. I have a master's degree in journalism. That's about as useful as a PhD in cursive. Journalism pays so little that my fallback career is stand-up comedy.
Ooh, ooh. Ouch.
And comedy and journalism is basically the same gig. You know, it's volunteer work or community service performed by alcoholics.
Sure.
So my day job is enemy of the people. You scared? I'm an investigative journalist and I cover crime, which is really tough. There are so many facts, you know, I mean, all these details, who can keep them straight? Because I have ADD. And, you know, I know everybody says that. Oh, I have ADD, squirrel. And by the way, why is seeing a squirrel a sign of ADD? Squirrels are doing everything they can to get you to notice them. They natter their teeth, their tails whip around spasmodically, they throw nuts at you. If you don't notice squirrels, you're dead. No, I truly am ADD. I actually take medication. It's basically speed to slow down my thoughts. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Here's how ADD affects my job. I was doing an article on guns in the home, and I was with the PD, I was with the LAPD on a ride along. Ride along, doesn't that sound nice? It is if you're white. So they come to my house, they pick me up, they give me a bottle of water. Officer Rick tells me about the screenplay he's written. You know, it was exactly like that. It was like Uber. But they get a call of a shooting. It's a suicide. So we go into the house and there's a woman lying on the floor, dead, and her husband and her child are, you know, stunned off to the side. And I look around and I notice on the coffee table there's a pile of red M&Ms, and next to it is a bag. And clearly the mother had probably been separating them for the kid. And, you know, looking at this scene, it struck me the futility. I mean, didn't she realize that all M&Ms taste the same? You know, I reach over and I pop a red one in my mouth and I close my eyes and you couldn't tell. And then I notice her kid is looking at me eating the M&Ms. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I was testing those, you know, red dye number 2. That stuff could kill you. But my ADD affects everything. But we all do this stuff sometimes, right? You ever go to the grocery store and take the wrong cart by accident? I have this neighbor, she's a single mom with a little kid, and I wanted to give her a break. So I said, I'll go to the grocery store for you. So I'm there, I zone out in the cereal aisle, wander back and grab my cart, only I take the wrong one, but I don't know it. So, you know, I check out, still don't notice. I'm rolling it out to my car and I hear this woman screaming and she's pointing at me in my cart and she's got a security guard. And so I'm like, oh God. And I look down, I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, okay, sorry. It's an honest mistake. All kids look alike. That's my time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody. I'm not sure where Mike has stepped off to, but I'll put. I have the list here, and
I've been praising Ginny into the Ethernet because I turned off my thing so I could blow my nose without disturbing anyone.
Well,
anyway, that's Christina. Our next performer is Jake Hovis, then Christina.
I got it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to a different list, and sorry. But did you want to introduce Jake, or did I just?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to break the stream of magic that we've created. Fuck the introduction up, and after the consummate professionalism I've shown so far, I wouldn't do that to a man who could snap me like a twig. So please, Jake Hovis.
Hey, all right. Yeah, fun. So yeah, I was with my buddy the other day, and he points at this girl and says, "Oh, she's a dime." And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew FDR is on the dime, so maybe she has polio. I later I later figured it out. She, it means like 10 out of 10, good looking, whatever. So I asked my wife, "Hey, do you think I'm a dime?" And she says, "No. You may be change for a nickel, but definitely not a dime." And I say, "Well, in that case, you're a penny because you cost more than you're worth."
Oh, hey.
How's that couch feel?
Don't tell her that I said that. Did she log on? Did she?
Yes, she did.
Oh, other wife.
My other family. Oh yeah.
I took my car in to get some work, and because I keep getting flat tires. I'm just constantly getting flat tires, but it's only on the side of the car that I'm sitting. And yeah, the the mechanic is like, "Bro, you got to rotate your tires and think about portion control." This is a dumb one. So I got a flat tire, and I left my wife on the side of the road, and I went bowling, and I came back real excited and told her I got a spare. It's bad. It's a bad joke. Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna go cross that one off. Move on to my other pun-based joke,
Wow.
which is
You have to take a bath in heavy water after that joke.
Some old-timey reference I didn't get.
Radioactive. Oh, science. If you hadn't gone to Liberty University, you would have known what I was talking about.
Oh, he had that one holstered. Okay. He was just ready for that. I'm going to say something old timey that nobody's going to understand. Jake's going to bust me for it, and then boom.
Boom, chick.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, moving on to microwave popcorn. Or as my Native American friend calls it, surprise maize. Okay, I don't understand this about the popcorn. I'm at the grocery store, I'm looking at all the popcorns, and it's just talking about butter. It's this one comes with butter, this is extra butter, this is extreme butter, this is nothing but butter. What are we doing with this? It's like, I'm in the grocery store. Actual butter is right over there. Can we? I think I did this joke for you guys already.
No, it's just not getting a laugh.
I feel like I am. I'm going to move on. I have another one that I want to get to. I have another one I want to get to anyway. I don't understand how people are convincing other people to smoke in 2020, like smoke cigarettes. How is that conversation? Hey, you 21? You like fire? What about smelling bad and being ostracized? I got something right for you. Like, I mean, there's good things about smoking. You know, you can, you look kind of, you're always squinting, you always got that squint. Yeah, you're like, yeah, okay. And you can always make a good point, just throw it down. That's why you should be fired. You know, it makes more sense.
4 minutes.
That. Yeah. Let's see here. And I never smoked. My lungs are like my nipples. Pink.
Oh God.
Very big and pink. Yes. There we go. There's a nipple lung joke that you didn't think you would get today. But when I was a kid, I thought everybody smoked. Absolutely everybody smoked because there's like equipment built into the car. It was like ashtrays and cigarette lighters. And like you go to the restaurant and they ask you smoking. Like half of diners smoke. I thought everybody smoked. I was very confused as a child. But now everybody vapes. It's a lot less cancer, but a lot more shame. Have you ever seen somebody vape? They like try to hide it, you know?
Yeah.
And it looks like they're sucking on a flash disc. It's like, what are you inhaling? Documents? All right, there we go. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
The need to tag about uploading to the cloud. Can't you?
very strong in the humanity. Don't worry about it, Jake. I did not have that holstered. I just gave you a little more credit than you apparently deserved. That's all. As it turns out, Jake's funny no matter what he talks about, whether he knows what he's talking about or not. He's just hilarious. He's just hilarious is what he is. Thank you, Paul Lind. There's another old-timey reference for you. Look it up. Look it up! Sorry. A little hot. I apologize. Probably a good time for me to get off the mic and let Christina Kleeman, please spell my name right, on stage and talk.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Are we happy? You like? Give it up for everybody that's performed. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake Holvis, I was watching you perform. Don't be insulted by this, but you look like if you were to wear like a wig, like a Thomas Jefferson wig, you look like you'd be the perfect face for Quaker oatmeal. So, like, sorry. If you need any Halloween costumes, that would be a good suggestion.
I love carbs, so yeah, that works.
Yeah, well, and fiber, yes. You guys, I would like to report that my pussy, also known as my cat, is asleep. The other one is, well, give it up for menstruation, right? That's, why we're all here. Yeah, okay.
That's why we're all here.
Weird set, Christina. Okay, so you guys, I'm not good at math, even though I got to be in math class because of, COVID. So I don't think that I understand patterns, which is why my dating life never goes as planned. But I do like a good curve.
Yeah.
That's a sex joke. Okay. I have a friend that I think should have been an abortion doctor because her favorite expression was, "I kid you not." Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. This is going really well. When I was younger, my parents used to throw me down the staircase several times to teach me about persistence. So that was always fun. I don't know why I have this habit of putting all my notes in my iPhone. We'll work on that. So you guys, I wanted breast implants a while ago, and I asked my doctor how they measure them. The doctor said in cubic centimeters, and I said, okay, well, how big is that in layman's terms? And he says, oh, it's about the size of an Asian girl's nipples. So when the doctor asked me, how big were you thinking of going? I said about 100 Asian nipples. Yeah, the doctor's my dad. Yeah. I clearly haven't been writing a lot of jokes during this quarantine, as you can tell. I've been writing some jokes. How much time am I at, Mike? 5 seconds?
Oh, you're all right. You got about a minute.
Do I have a minute? Okay.
You have a minute.
I'm going to think of a really funny joke, you guys, that you will love, and you're going to love it. So I got really high the other day, and I discovered that my favorite thing is having a silent but deadly fart in an elevator and then blaming it on somebody else. that's not really a joke. That's just more of who I am as a person. Yeah, this is a good set. I'll work on it. Hold on. Doctors used to slap. Well, I don't know if they still do this as a practice, but doctors, I guess, used to slap your ass as a baby to stimulate your first breath. My boyfriend still slaps my ass to stimulate my breath, and it's after choking me out. So, okay, that's been my time. Thank you, guys.
Dana, there's something in that last one. There's a joke there.
In my entire set, there's a joke there.
No, there's a
Mike.
joke
Okay.
in your. There's many jokes in your entire set. That particular one,
Mhm.
intriguing to me.
Thank you.
Especially right.
Not like Ned Rice, but thank you.
No, he's no. Well, you can't. You know.
What was that?
We have the moon, Christina. Why reach for the stars?
Granted, our acts are very similar. I get it.
Yeah.
But that was uncalled for.
Nevertheless, uncalled for is good. I'm hoping for that as often as possible on these shows. Well, so our final performer of the evening, unless Chuck decides to do some time.
Craig Abramson, are you gonna do a set? And,
I've already spoken with Craig.
I didn't
via
know.
the chat. He's not performing tonight.
Well, that's so cool of him to show up,
He
and
was just to show up.
what a good person.
Yeah.
That's what counts.
My friend Dennis was not able to get on tonight. I think he might have waited. But our next performer is from Chicago, and his name is Raghu Adabantla.
Hey guys,
Yay!
what's up? So I read that Trump might be thinking about pulling out of the election. I'm sure he's not going to, although I really wish he would, but not as much as I wish Trump's dad pulled out of Trump's mom. We've been watching a lot of movies during this pandemic, you know, and my wife, you know, we always wonder what movie to watch every night. So my wife said one night, hey, you know, I want to watch a feel-good movie. So I put on a porno. I felt good. We, you know, women always like to get into discussions, give advice and all this. And then that phrase comes out, hey, let's get a guy's perspective on this. My thought on this is whenever someone says, let's get a guy's perspective on this, it never leads to anything good. All right, I'm going to work on that one. That I need something stronger.
That's your perspective.
I went to Walmart and I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I went home, brushed my teeth, took a shower, wore some nice clothes, and went to Target. Speaking of Target, sometimes I like to go to Target 5 minutes before it's closing. You know, because I feel like it's a nice rush. I feel like I'm on one of those supermarket shopping game shows where you have like 5 minutes to shop. It's just something exciting. You guys got to try it. Pretty cool. We've been working from home a lot, and now I know that when I write a joke to my wife, that she's not really laughing out loud. It's not happening. When I go to my doctor, you know, and especially when it's like a new doctor I'm seeing, I have a feeling he already knows I'm married, because whenever I look at my form, the box next to not sexually active is already checked off. So that's all I got, guys. Those are the jokes I wanted to work on. Thank you so much for squeezing me in. Thanks, guys.
Ragu. Hey, Ragu.
Yes.
Another reason to shop in the last 5 minutes at Target is that you limit your exposure to fat assholes not wearing masks.
Whoa.
Oh.
That is true. That
Yeah.
is true.
Anybody on this show that's taking that personally, I feel sorry for you.
Except during Halloween.
All right. Ned,
Yeah. Somebody had to say it, Mike.
Ned, how many
Just
angels can dance on the head of a pin? Rice.
Ah,
You
they don't
can't control all the variables, Ned. You can't. Just say
You didn't come here to get made fun of, did you, Mike?
I didn't come here to be insulted. I'll tell you that.
Where do you go?
What do you usually download?
Look at that. Updating it for the 21st century. Ned Rice, ladies and gentlemen. He can still throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball when he has to. Can't tell a joke for shit, but he can throw it. Hey, wow! Stop saying that. Why would a guy say that? Why would a person who professes to be a friend say a thing like that?
I blame your parents.
Because he's, that makes two of us. Even more now that they're dead.
Oh dear.
Well,
Mhm.
you'll get there, Ned. You'll know. So anyway, this was lovely. I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish that we had a couple of spots that were going to be for people who had originally signed up through the Displaced Comedians, but Himali Suresh and Andre Majors were not here tonight. If any of you know them or know them through Facebook, let them know that we missed them.
We did. That was.
And
but we certainly met some fun new people.
Yeah.
And reconnected some cool people. So
Jenny was funny yet again.
Thank you.
David Germain yet again. In fact, all but one of you were great. It was just.
Agreed. I totally agree.
Yeah.
We probably could discuss off stage. Who did you think?
I know who it was. It was me. I was the one that wasn't funny. I get it.
Right. We'll go to Wenchels. We'll talk it over.
Yeah, we'll play Dungeons and Donuts.
Right.
I'm going to get you with that +5 jelly donut.
Right. Remember going to places? That was so cool.
Yeah.
Like after a show.
Sunlight, man.
Remember when a drive-by was dangerous?
Right. After a show, we'd go somewhere. We'd do stuff.
Remember when curbside service was kind of dirty?
Yeah. Well, that's right.
Okay.
Out in front of the Improv in New York, curbside
That's
service
it. That's
was a
it, man.
tranny leaning in on the driver's side. Back in the day when they were trannies and proud. What about Ann Arbor and Michigan generally? Is it pretty shut down still?
It's cuckoo.
Okay.
No, not like other cities. No. A lot of people are wearing their face masks at a half mast, and nobody's wearing gloves.
Are they going? Are restaurants open for dining?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, Sukumar.
Yay.
Where are you geographically?
I'm in Denver.
Oh, I didn't know that. We should get together sometime.
All right.
The funniest thing you said all night. Screw Ireland.
All right.
Mike, I think you have a ride home. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Why, did a police car go by? At any rate,
Ned,
I worked that stuff out with my son so many times, like all of those hacky things. That now whenever a streetcar goes by, my son says, I gotta stop eating that Mexican food. It's like 10 different hack things that you say when you're on stage if there's a disruption from outside the club.
Yep.
Like
There's my ride.
bell rings someplace. You go, I gotta stop eating that Mexican food. Car goes by, my ride's here. Anyway, this was lovely. And Jenny, thank you for showing up tonight and showing us up tonight. Like, frankly, that I'm not so grateful for. And everybody else, just really happy. Tell your friends, have some people come in and contribute some money and watch you guys be funny and laugh at you the next week. And I will see you 8 p.m. Mountain Time next Monday. Come to Apocalypse on Sunday.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
All right, killing
Hey,
stuff.
without you, I'm just a guy complaining in his basement all by himself. Well, never mind.
Good.
Right.
Good show, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
come
you.
back next week. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, you got 4 thumbs up. That was pretty awesome for your YouTube.
Yeah, thanks, Christina.
All right, let's I'm gonna at least end the old YouTube.